Hello students, we have discussed so far the political thinkers. In that we have discussed Plato and Aristotle, and we saw that how method of Plato was deductive while method of Aristotle was inductive, how Plato was idealist, Aristotle was realist, and Plato had greater hate for democracy, Aristotle had lesser hate for democracy. Plato favored philosopher king, Aristotle favored polity as the best and most practicable form of government. Plato rejected private property and marriage as symptoms of selfishness, but Aristotle favored them and also favored slavery. So in last class we discussed questions also. So as per the booklet, we will be moving forward. We have done already Plato and Aristotle, the pre-Christian ancient Greek thinker of 5th and 4th century BC. Now we will move to Karl Marx. Karl Marx. You might have heard about communism, Marxism, socialism, revolutionary socialism. So, first, Karl Marx, we need to understand the context to understand his thought from exam perspective. Then we will go for the question also and their model answers. So, Karl Marx, as far as this Karl Marx is concerned, so Karl Marx, we will have to see the context of Karl Marx. That was in 19th century, 1818 to 1883. As I said, to understand his thought, we need to understand the context of 19th century. You know that industrial revolution started from England 1750 onwards. Earlier it was trading capitalism, but factory system of production, mass production, that led to industrial mode of capitalism in 18th century. And in 19th century, industrial capitalism was at its peak. Rich-poor gap was huge. Minority capitalists became exploiters and majority workers become exploited. Dominant dependent relationship. So in 19th century, the industrial revolution started in 18th century, reached its peak in Western European countries, and Marx was a German Jew, but he lived most of his life in England, and he was so poor that he could not publish his books. Thanks to his rich friend Engels, that with the help of Engels, he was successful in publishing his various books. So there are various books, but most important is Communist Manifesto, although he also wrote Das Kapital, Political Economy, but the most important one that he wrote in 1848 is Communist Manifesto. Communist Manifesto that was written in 1848 at the mid of 19th century. So in the front page of Communist Manifesto itself, Marx says, workers of the whole world, join hands, you have nothing to lose but chains, and you have a whole world to conquer. This itself signifies that the plight and conditions of laborers, proletariat, was quite bad. In fact, it reached to its nadir. In initial capitalism, 14th century, 15th century, 16th century, even 17th century, it was trading capitalism. And traders or businessmen were only middle class. And ruling class and feudal lords were higher class. But with the passage of time, trading capitalism transformed into industrial capitalism. Now businessmen became industrialist, mass production. So factory system of production, mass production, mechanized production, such a huge quantity of production that even if profit margin is small, quantity is so much that profits would be huge. This is the context that minority capitalist, minority industrialist became the exploiter or haves, and society got divided into two parts, haves and have-nots. And Marx favored the cause of working class. As I said, in Communist Manifesto, he says workers of the whole world, proletariats, workers, dependent, being exploited, you may be economically inferior, but you are numerically superior. And if you join hands, cutting across national boundaries, then you can overcome your exploitation and you can revert the exploitation and you can make a classless, stateless communist society. That was the ultimate objective of Karl Marx, that ultimately exploitation-free society would be formed only after socialist revolution. Violence is the mother of change, and only one thing is permanent in this world, that is change. So class struggle theory he gave. We are understanding the context of Karl Marx in 19th century. In 19th century, the time period of Karl Marx